Hey everybody, welcome to Tactical Tuesday, Tactics, Gear, and more. And tonight we're going to be talking more about the more part. Tonight's topic is, what's your DEFCON status? And so what we're going to be talking about is, well, we'll get to that. But first, let's say hi to everybody. Got Courtney in here from Wide Family Farm.
Hey everybody.
Got a bunch of comments up here up in the side chat already. And, oh, yeah, it's taking a while to get there. All right, so first one in was Uncle Al at Die Bullfrog 79, followed by Phelan Clan Wolf. And then Super Scout came in. Kaylin Strain came in. Mary Beth Smith. Tasha, prep for it. Jay is in the house. And everyone talking back and forth. Courtney's talking to them.
I'm wearing my bath soap. What? Oh no!
Everybody's talking there. Bruce is in the house. Hey Bruce, I sent you the link. I'd really like to have you up here if you could. Everyone's talking back. King Poobah is in the house. And Nikki at Blue Farm is here. Uncle Al's screaming orange alert.
Are you talking about my shirt?
No.
Oh.
Before you came up, Uncle Al was saying orange alert. When
Oh.
the first question was, what's your DEFCON status? And first thing he said was orange. Basically, that's level 3. And okay. And Kaylin wants to know what's on your shirt.
It's just a t-shirt.
Harley Davidson.
My Harley shirt.
Tina Weber just came in. Hey, Tina.
Hey, Tina.
And Dale Homestead's here. Klingon Princess is here. Ooh, it jumped a bunch there.
Klingon Princess. What's up, girl?
Okay. All right. So, yeah, in case anybody doesn't see the little message I put up at the top of the chat there, yeah, I put the 5-minute you got to be a subscriber on because Desi's channel got hit by some trolls.
Yeah.
Josh just got hit by, not
was it bad trolls or is it just those regular ones that
spammers?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that are putting up, this link. And you go to that link and it's a
yeah,
thick. Yeah. I'm sorry, but
annoying.
Yeah. So, and I got the last of my Skittles. I got all grape ones left.
Did you purposely not eat them? Like you
I eat the ones I don't like first. That way I have the good ones at the end. Yeah, Kaylin, you're exactly right on that one. And known to that, it's usually Russian or North Korean porn dorks. All right. So, tonight's topic, DEFCON status. What is DEFCON? Your defense condition status. But, hey, Josh. So, hey, Wiley Living. Oh, I forgot his name. What's Wiley's first? What's his? It's
Dudley.
Dudley. That's right. Hey, Dudley. Ginger Ninja is Wide Family Farms #1 fan, Ginger Ninja. All righty, so let's go over to the slideshow. It's going to be a real short slideshow. I think I got 3 slides total. That's the first slide. If I can get it to, there we go. Second slide. So this is the United States definition of their DEFCON system. You can start out with level 5, DEFCON 5. And when they do an exercise, it's called fade out. Everything's normal, lowest state. It's just, blah, da, 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 all's good, never land, and like that. Then DEFCON 4 is double take, above normal for readiness. Description is intel watch increase, security measures, strengthened, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then DEFCON 3 is roundhouse is the one. Actually, I was calling orange DEFCON 2. Okay, so DEFCON 3 is roundhouse. Air Force has 15 minutes to mobilize. Readiness increased above levels. So, that's where they're at. And then DEFCON 2 is fast pace. Armed forces have 6 hours or less to deploy and engage. Near nuclear war. DEFCON 1 is cocked pistol, maximum readiness, nuclear war imminent. All right, so that's the government's thing of it. But for preppers, it's a whole lot less ominous. That's the word, ominous. So basically, I would say for the last 2 years, we should all have been on DEFCON 4. Above normal. And I froze. Above normal, and in increased measures, because people are watching who's going to the store and who's stocking up. So you need, just above normal. That's that's where most people should have been. But let's go on to the next slide here. Okay, so are you situation normal? Are you heightened awareness? Are you urgently working on your preps, or some of them? Hey, I'm urgently looking for the 41 quart All-American canner to come down in price. If it comes back down to under $400, I may pull the trigger on it.
Yeah.
Right now it's up to $585.
Yeah, that's still a little pricey, so I get it.
Yeah. If it drops down to $285 where it was a couple of years ago, yeah, I'll definitely jump on it. All right. But I'm not urgently working on my preps. I've got, by myself here, I probably got 3 or 4 years worth of food just here. Not counting what my wife has in California and stuff like that. So, so I'm not really urgently working on my preps. Increasing your security measures, not so much here in Idaho. California, my wife has stepped things up. My son down there has stepped things up. And they want to go a little bit farther, but right now they're just, kind of holding the ground down there. The next one, going to ground. I don't think anybody has gone to ground. And Steve, of course, our trainers, loves to poke fun at all these guys that are saying, oh, when this happens, I'm going to be bugging out and going to ground. And they're still on YouTube. Right. He goes, hey, I thought you were going to ground. I thought you were bugging out.
There's just a lot of there's a lot of big talkers out there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so, I don't think there's anybody really that's going to ground unless they have totally decided, hey, it's time I retire. I get off grid. I'm going out. I'm out to the cabin out there, and I'm just getting away from it all. And if someone's doing that, more power to them, because now they can find out what they really need before it really hits the fan. Or are you like some of the ones that are throwing a party because, hey, there's nothing I can do. I'm ground zero. I might as well party right now. All right. So the big question is, are you panicking or using common sense? And hopefully everybody here is using common sense. Bruce says he's at ground. He's not going to ground. He already bugged out of Pennsylvania down to Tennessee. But I call that a retirement party. All right, so that's what I had. So basically what I'm looking at is, what are you doing along the lines of those kind of 5 questions I asked you, normal, heightened awareness, urgently working on your preps, increasing your security measures, going around bugging out. Remember, so number 5 over here would be just situation normal. Number 1, bugging out, getting the heck out of Dodge, locking up, hiding in your bomb shelter, whatever. And I must say, for me up here, I'm actually 5.5, 5 3/4. Yeah, when I go into Idaho Falls, yeah, I'm a little bit more aware of what's going on around me, but that's pretty much normal for me anyways.
Yeah.
I do keep an eye out on prices of stuff I don't buy all the time, just to see what the prices are doing. So I'm paying more attention on that stuff. I'm also noticing whether or not they have the one only per customer sign on the toilet paper, paper towels, bags of rice, the 2 gallon bottle, case of vinegar, stuff like that.
Yep. Oh my God, it's Q. Hi, Q.
Hey, Q. Gardner Joss, I just stored anti-radiation tablets.
Oh, Lord. I don't know. I don't really like to talk about what I have as far as preps.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes, you notice I'm just kind of being generally vague about it. But the one thing I will go into detail on, I now have 4, 5, 6, 7 cases of toilet paper.
Oh, well, there we go.
It's not good. Oh, they froze me. They don't want me talking about toilet paper. It's not going to go bad. Price is just going up on it. So actually, it's price is going up faster on the toilet paper than interest rate we earn in our savings account. So it's a better investment. Plus, if something does go screwy, I can trade a roll of toilet paper for several cans of beans and a 5-pound bag of rice. But yeah, just paper goods and stuff. Over the last year and a half, I've been slowly stocking up, not panic buying, going and getting a couple here, and then getting a couple more. So I'm pretty good here. My wife has been doing the same thing in California. Of course, she's got the 2 boys with her down there, so they go through a little bit more than I do. But yeah, that's, we're just taking it, kind of just going along. My wife has actually gone to 4 1/4. She's actually been thinking about possibly just selling the California house and cutting California and coming up here, quitting her job, and seeing what she can find employment up here.
Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah, once she's up here, though, the bonus is once we move everything up here, hey, I don't have to worry about having a job and trying, hey, I need a week off to go back to California every month during the summer. Then I can go back and actually get a job and work full time and bring more income up here.
Well,
hey, Christy Betts.
Josh just asked a really great question. What happens when the shelves are empty? Well, I am not worried about it. I garden very well. And not only do I garden very well, I'm not worried about toilet paper. I can use other items for toilet paper.
Doesn't Dustin have 3,000 rolls?
No.
He just making that comment in a couple of the live streams.
Yeah, he was joking, I think.
I think so too. Alcohol answers that question. Instant diet. For a lot of people, it's an instant diet. Last month, I scored a free roll of toilet paper, free roll of paper towels. Yeah, that's one of the things that. So for us, it's kind of weird. My wife has the garden in California. You haven't seen that video. I did 3 different videos on her garden there. The last 2 videos were her doing the garden tour back to back, front yard and backyard. I mean, she's got, for a little 3rd acre lot that we have there with a big house on it and the big shop in the back, she's got a lot of it producing food. And we figured out last year she probably got rid of over 500 pounds of apples and lemons to the neighbors or to the horses across the street. You can wipe your behind on that t-shirt.
On what t-shirt? He hates this t-shirt. I put it on earlier because we had pizza for supper and my son had sauce all over him. Okay. And I was wearing my white hooded sweatshirt and I'm like, well, I got to put on another shirt. So I put this one on. He's like, could you found another shirt? I'm like, what? So my son can just smear pizza sauce all over it? I'm like, I'm good.
Hey, Dustin, that's the perfect shirt for her to wear to get ruined. If you don't like it. Think of it that way.
Oh, Lord.
Helen asked, what do people do before TP? Let's see. Actually, before TP, a lot of people were, before toilet paper was invented, there were other paper products people were using, sheets of paper and stuff like that from the catalogs and stuff like that. There was corn cobs. Seriously, folks used corn cobs. And there were leaves, other things. There was the family rag or family towel. They had several of those. You use that and go in the thing, and you would get in a bucket of water, whatever, and they'd clean it up later. Hey, Tibor. Yeah, that was a, oh, where'd it go? There it goes. That was Sears Roebuck catalogs, and the Montgomery Ward catalog and the Spiegel catalog were big at the beginning of the century before a lot of people had indoor plumbing. But a cloth towel rag was probably the biggest one. And then, of course, prior to that, there was the hand.
Well, Kathy, I have a lot of t-shirts that could just go whenever they want. I worked in the paint department at Lowe's, and I have tons of splattered paint t-shirts. Can tell you that. So, yep. Sears catalog.
Got a couple more in here.
They don't make a Sears catalog anymore. Sorry,
no, they
guys.
don't. And that is what killed Sears off. In my personal opinion, Sears screwed up when other companies started doing all the online stuff. Sears refused to do it. And when the time they got on the online ordering stuff, they were behind the 8 ball and 10 generations back on websites. So that's where, yeah. Hey, the Kraken's in the house too. So we got Kathy D. Healing Moment and Eve Sky. And I think someone else snuck in here too. All right. So with everything that's going on currently that everybody knows and acknowledges, and with some of the stuff that Dave at Southern Ohio Prepping and myself have been talking about for the last 2.5 years, dealing with the supply chain.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially what came out last month with the shortage of the diesel exhaust fuel and fluid for their diesel engines and stuff. They have to have the environmental requirements on it. And then several companies now have trucking companies have gone under or just stopped operations.
Yeah.
And several big ones, their major stockholders are dumping stock. So it's there looks on the horizon for 2020 the possibility of a major supply chain failure, not a total collapse, just a failure for a period of time. So there's a possibility of that what Josh's question of, so what happens when the shelves are empty? The shelves could go empty several times this year easily. So if you have taken the time to work on your preps, and you have at least a year's worth of food or whatever, you're probably just at heightened awareness.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be DEFCON 4, heightened awareness. 5 is normal. So heightened awareness. But if you haven't gotten enough food and you're going out and buying food now and some other medical supplies, medications, extra clothing for the kids to grow into, then you're probably at DEFCON 3. And so you're urgently get my mouth straight here, urgently working on your preps. Now, some people in some of the towns and stuff have been talking about, really needing to up in certain areas, really needing to up your security measures as well. I know Tasha at Mama Bear Prepping was talking about that for down in Southern California where they were at. And I know some people have been talking about that up at Portland and some even Seattle. So there is, in some areas, some people are being forced because of what the government's not doing, or the government is allowing others to do that they shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
They're having to up their status a little bit higher. Tibor says he thinks DEFCON 3 is the norm. Unless you're out in the country, you're probably right, Tibor. It's probably getting to be the norm for most of the cities. Now, I heard talking in one of the other live streams. Hang on, what's going on here? It wasn't the 80 Iowa truck stop. I'm not sure what that's about. I think I missed something there, Tina. But here, Kaylin has it. So Kaylin said, yeah. So and that was the
Legos, lots of Legos to deploy around your property.
What?
Jay. Oh, that cracks me up.
Jay, you have no idea, or maybe you remember how related to the 20 Mule team I am related. My dad, back in the late 40s and early 50s, it was still running, and my dad actually ran it for a couple of years. So, yeah, he has lovely things to say about mules. Okay, so the Rockwell City truck fire, yeah. But anyways, there are a lot of things that you should, it's the first of the year.
Yeah.
And if you saw my January 1st Your Prep for Today video, it was only a couple of minutes long. Today, this is the time to take evaluation of your all your preps and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you should have a plan of some sorts, people. Some sort of plan written down. And evaluate that plan, what you've succeeded at, where you need to work on it more. Mm-hmm. Where did the plan fall short? You need to expand the plan to what you've come to a new realization of. Oh, I didn't even think of this. This is something we need to address. Hey, Sheila Graham, Texas Rob, Emma 3010. And did I miss anybody else up there? Okay, I don't think so. I hope I got everybody. Anyway, so now's the time to evaluate your plan for what's coming up in the future. And in fact, let me go over here and grab this real quick. Okay, hang on. Something just jumped over here. There we go. Okay, yeah. So in 2 weeks on Monday's Fireside Chat, we're going to be talking about your garden. It's wintertime. Why are we going to be talking about your garden?
Because exactly. A lot of people don't realize either that you need to start your vegetables and stuff ahead of time. You can't just, especially here, you can't just go and throw them in the ground. That's not going to work. You have to have starts. You have to start them ahead of time.
Because I know, especially here, to plant seeds in the ground's got to be at least 50 degrees for them to germinate. Yep. So, yeah.
And we plan it out. We have a Clyde's garden planner, and that really helps. But we plan it out, however long it takes for like tomatoes, for instance, takes like 6 weeks. So we mark it on a calendar. We say, hey, sometime between this week and this week, we need to start doing the tomatoes. Onions, you want to start 3 months in advance. So right now, get your onion starts going, because if you're starting them from seed, if not, if you have bulbs, then you can just go ahead and plant those whenever. But onions take, quite a while before you can actually put them in the ground. So you gotta definitely think ahead, and that's good in all situations. So.
All right, Kraken. His small greenhouse is finished.
Woohoo!
Woo-hoo! So basically what you need to do is start planning out everything. Plan out the garden. I mean, some people were planning out their garden 2 months ago for spring. I'm not saying who possibly could have been planning out their garden for spring 2 months ago? But I know, like Kathy North Star Prepsteader, I believe, was talking about it a couple months ago about, plan all the things she plans to do this spring. She's working on, for her garden. She's planning it out now. One of the other things to look at too is, besides what you're going to be planting, is take an inventory of what your food storage is, what you've gone through, what you're using more of than other stuff. Make sure your food storage is balanced for what you're actually going to use.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to wind up at the end having, wow, I got 500 cans of refried beans and 3,000 pounds of rice. Oh no.
Yeah. And just, if you have that, that's fine, I guess, but just please to God, make sure you have tons of spices, because you're just going to get sick of that. I can't even imagine. For when I was sick for a week, okay, I had ramen noodle soup and tea. Towards the end of the week, I couldn't even look at a ramen noodle. Like, I can't even imagine living months on end with that. Like, oh, come on, guys. Make sure you have plenty of spice packets. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
one of
Lord.
the so one of the things with your food storage, what you have, what's in your pantry. So you got your working pantry and you got your food storage.
Mm-hmm.
You draw from your food storage to fill your pantry, and then you refill your food storage.
Right.
So you're planting to make natural gas. Yeah, Bruce, that's what that's what the beans are for. So when you're looking at your food storage and your pantry, you should be, as you're using stuff, trying to keep track of what you're using to figure out, all right, I'm using so much of this per week, so much per month, so much of this, and I go through the stuff. And then, the meals change from summer to winter. You're not going to eat a lot of soup in the summertime, but you may eat a lot of soup in the wintertime. Different types of soups, because, hey, it's just comfort food.
Summertime, not so much the soup thing, but as soon as like September hits, I want like chili and potato soup and, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Kraken's right. LED grow lights are great.
Yes.
Because, hey, they cost like 1/10 of what a regular heat lamp grow light does.
Mm-hmm.
Not to buy, but to use. So the and Uncle Al saying, don't forget to stock up on your Spam, not the electronic Spam, the canned meat Spam.
Yeah. My grandmother, when I was little, she'd always pull out those canned hams all the time.
Oh yeah, I remember the canned
hams.
One
with the key that you had
all the way around the side, pop it open. Oh yeah, I used to do that. And you have the gel, gelled fat on it. You scrape off. My grandmother, she'd scrape all that off into a container, and she would use that later on for greasing pans when she was cooking stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my grandmother always made a gravy out of it.
Yeah. Advice for your garden: plant plants that chase pests off. Marigolds chase off a lot of pests. Well, Jay, where'd it go? Did it jump that high? It did jump that high. There it is. Yes, I did a video on that, Jay. I made beanless chili, and it was delicious. In fact, I ate too much. I've ate more than I actually froze. Okay.
Oops.
Black label canned ham. All right, back down to the cake. All right. So, hey, Steve, I sent you the link if you want to come up here and give everybody a reality check.
Kaylin, no, you can plant them in the shade, but I think they're more likely they prefer the sun.
Yeah. they're okay for partial shade of the day and everything else, but yeah, they love the other. So yeah, you can plant them around certain plants so they get shaded a little bit, but yeah. The brain work. Come on, work. Okay, so in your supplies and stuff, you need to figure out how much you use most of, so you don't run short of food that you eat a lot of, and all of a sudden, like, oh, we're all out of the canned ham or the canned beef or the pancake mix or whatever, and you're stuck with stuff out. Oh, doing homework. Oh well. That's it, Steve. You just got to act like you got a clue. You make
cute.
them teach you. That way they learn, and then you learn too. So, make sure your food supply is good.
Yeah.
That's what, if we're planning out for the year, you make sure what you learned from last year, what you used, so you can make this year go more smoothly.
And we use tomato juice for a lot of things, not just chili. You can use it for stuffed peppers and all of that stuff. So spaghetti sauces, you can make all different kinds. So tomato juice is one of our big things here. What else do you recommend besides marigolds for pests? Nasturtium, Helen, is really good. Nasturtium, and actually Uncle Al turned me on it, but I did read it in the Tomatoes Love Carrots book. Is you can put chives or garlic in a jug and make it like a tea out of it, and then put it in a garden sprayer and spray that on all of your vegetables, and you will not have one bug. And I did that last year with nasturtium and with marigolds, and I had like maybe a couple, but nothing was riddled with anything. So
so Tina learned something last year. She does not have a green thumb, but her brother does. That's it. That's perfect. You team up and you work together. He grows, you can it and preserve it. Win-win. Now the problem is with some of these things, like spraying the garlic around, you may chase off some of the beneficial bugs too, like ladybugs, praying mantises, fun ones like that. Besides nasturtiums and marigolds, if you're doing a lot of tomatoes, borage is the one to plant around the tomatoes.
Yeah.
The tomato hornworm and its moth hate the smell of the borage, and they'll stay away from the plants.
Interesting.
Since my wife has started planting that in our garden in California, she's had 0 tomato hornworms. And we used to always go out there and find big old monster ones. All of a sudden, we don't know where they came from. They couldn't have grown that big overnight, but they're that big, and they're all of a sudden half the plant's decimated.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have a ton of borage. I wanted to try it because they say the flower tastes exactly like a cucumber, and I love cucumbers, so that's why I grew it. And I have a ton of that, but I don't have it around my tomatoes.
Yeah.
So I'll have to.
Yeah, that's where my wife plants is, around the tomatoes. Yeah. Last year, and especially the year before, when I planted all those 55-gallon barrels full of tomatoes, I had a tomato plant and a borage plant in there. And then sometimes I'd stick a basil and forget the other plant. I put, so basically I had 4 plants in there, the tomato, and then 3, friendly plants in there with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. I had no tomato hornworms last year or this year here. What was that? I just saw some. Sheila said, gurneys. My mom used to use gurneys years ago. But then she had enough seeds that she stopped and she started harvesting seeds. My wife harvested seeds. She was getting seeds from the local community college extension center, from their horticulture department. So she'd get seeds from them, and
that's cool.
Off thing.
See, we don't. I mean, I guess we do. Maybe I just don't know about it, but we don't really have a whole lot of stuff like this, like that around here. Yeah. I just actually drove past today. We have like a master gardener location for the county, and I just drove past that today, and they have like a beautiful garden out back and stuff, but not really anything like that I'm aware of that you can get seeds and stuff from.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it, but that's cool that you can have access to that.
Yeah. Of course, that's California where they grow practically year round too. Hey, Terry. You got Terry Christ and Off the Wall Prepper in the house. One of the things too, when it comes to the gardening, that with the borage, blah, blah, blah. Get my mouth untied here. The borage, especially the borage, is one of those herbs that have municipal properties for medicines and stuff. And SOR with Christie's in the house.
Hey, Off the Wall, how are you doing?
And so there's, you look at your plants for your garden, plan out ahead of time what is edible, what is pest chasing, and what is edible and pet chasing. Because nasturtiums, you can use parts of the nasturtium plants in salads. And so, you plan out your garden now. That way you don't have to worry. Like that started on Josh's comment way back. What happens when the shelves are empty? And so, so if you can't plant a garden, look at what you can. I froze. They don't want me giving out secrets. I can't give you the answer for your individual situation, but if you're like in an apartment, Kaylin Strain in the side chat here, she has a channel. She talks about, she reviews MREs and stuff. She also did a little balcony garden last year.
I think her MRE Sunday thing is so impressive. It's so cool. And she makes the food look so freaking good. It can be something that's not something I would eat. And she's like, this stuff is really good. And I'm like, I love you, Caitlin. I love you.
Yeah, beets is a much maligned vegetable. It's good for you. Howie at Food Forest Permaculture, another great channel to go check out. He loves beets. He lists every now and then. He goes on a beet rant and lists all the good properties of beets.
Yeah, beets are supposed to be really good for your stomach.
Yeah,
I don't really like them. I guess I can try to learn to like them. They just smell and taste like dirt. I just can't. They say if you roast them, it's better, but
yeah. Well, the thing is, so all the beets my parents and grandmother used to get were heavily done in vinegar. And at the time, I did not appreciate vinegar.
Yeah,
I've learned to appreciate different flavors of vinegars now. And I add vinegar to my spinach and to my Swiss chard, rainbow chard, and kale, stuff like that. So that's one of the things that I'm slowly working to eat more beets. Now, on a side note, what I just mentioned, vinegars, store vinegars. You got all sorts of different variety of vinegars. You got some for cooking. You got some you can use in the garden for pest control. You can use some vinegars with vinegar, soap, salt, and regular, salt, and Epsom salt as a herbicide, natural herbicide. That's weed killer for those who don't speak $10 words. Hey, Suburban Hillbilly.
Hey. And my mom always does pickled beets with the eggs. And I didn't like that as a kid. I didn't like when she was cooking it either. She'd always do like the cinnamon sticks with the vinegar and or whatever. And then she would pour it over the eggs or whatever. It always smelled horrible. And I never liked it when I was a kid. But as I got older, I really liked that taste over the past couple years and stuff. But typically, and when I was pregnant, because I had to really watch what I ate, and we would make it with Splenda and do pickled eggs like that. So I could eat that. It was a really good snack, but that's, something that I did not like when I was little. None whatsoever. And I still don't like mustard eggs or, anything weird like that. I'm a
Yeah.
picky eater. So
So am I. When it comes to ice cream, you can have, people ask me, what's your favorite ice cream? I go, vanilla. They're like, that's
yes,
so plain.
I
Why
know.
vanilla?
Oh my
Because
God,
I
I'm
can
the
put
same way.
everything on vanilla.
I
You can't
know.
you can't
Yeah.
put a good caramel sauce on a peppermint, chocolate ice cream because the flavors just don't go together. But you can put just about any sauce flavoring on vanilla ice cream. It can't go wrong. Like Tina says, a vinegar, touch of Dawn, for cleaner for showers and tubs. The one I put up there about, what is it? Cherry Christ. I'll put that one back up. Dehydrated making beet powder. There are a lot of these ads for the super beet compound stuff for adding to your meals and stuff. Hey, if you got a dehydrator and you grow beets, guess what you got? You got the super beet compound.
Sugar beets too. Actually, it was M.I. Gardner. I think they had the seeds for sugar beets, and you can make sugar and stuff out of that. Now we don't really know how the process goes. Oh, Gil does.
Basically, they make sort of like a mash out of it and strain it, and there's a whole process. But basically, you can. Sugar industry doesn't want me giving away their secrets. They froze me. You can get books on it stuff, but yeah, you can. It's a simple process of making a mash, straining it, dehydrating, and stuff like that, and you wind up with a sugar. I need to get a good dehydrator. Okay, I'm going to address this. All right, there are a lot of great dehydrators out there. Some people prefer the ones that vent from the bottom up. Some prefer the ones from the back forward. My wife prefers the ones from the bottom up because she seems to get better even dehydrating from the bottom up. And we have a couple of the bottom up ones, and then we have a couple from the back forward ones. The back forward ones seem to dry out in the back, so you got to pull the trays out, turn them around, and put them back in.
Yeah, I noticed that a little bit. We have an Excalibur 9-tray dehydrator, and so far it's really worked. But I typically, a lot of times, I dry my herbs on I put them on a cookie sheet, and I with a paper towel, and I cover them up so nothing can get on them.
Yeah.
And I just let them sit on the table. It gets so hot in here sometimes, and I just let them sit on the table for like a week, and they're dry. It doesn't,
Yeah. All right. When it comes to, and I shudder every time I have to say this, solar generators, because technically they're not a generator. They are a battery pack, or basically they're a power station. It's got the battery in there. It's got the inverter in there. It's got a built-in charger in there. So you can plug it into the wall, or you can have the 12-volt power coming in to charge. So a power station depends what you need to want. It depends what you need to do with it and how much you're willing to pay for it. There are some great ones out there. There are some ones that you can run your entire house off of, as long as you don't go overboard and as long as you're using LED lights and everything else that will power your house AC. But there's some other ones out there, and there's if you go for the solar generator, you want to learn a lot about it. Minute Man Prep. 3 words. Minute Man Prep. That's Ben Gilmore. He has probably about 30 or 40 solar generators he's bought and done reviews on. So you can check him out. He has reviews on those. He actually hooked up his RV off of his Titan solar generator and ran it for a week at Scout Camp with the panels he mounted on top of the trailer. And it was fully charged at the end when he left. So when he left to go there, it was fully charged. It was left fully charged when he came home. All right.
I watch a lot of programs on like dehydrating by the sunlight too. So you can make yourself like a dehydrator box for outside, It's kind of like a cold frame. So you can do that and put your herbs in there as well. And I don't think it takes very long to do it that way either.
No, Tina, I don't, because I haven't planted any sugar beets here. However, in the fields around me, they rotate between sugar beets, potatoes, and alfalfa. So sugar beets are big up here. And I talked to some of the guys, and they said, they kind of gave me the gist. Yeah, they make a mash out of it and everything. But there are probably some YouTube videos out there on how to do sugar beets if you look for it. All right. Idaho Garden Girl. Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
You know, there's sometimes when you know someone's name and you're not sure they want to give their name out because you've never
I
seen
know.
them give their name out.
I usually, unless like everybody knows them by their real name too, but I just say their name, like Suburban Hillbilly, for instance. I just say Suburban or, you know.
Okay, there was something here I just missed. Okay, generators. All right, so Tina says they have a Cummins whole house generator that uses LP gas and Presto dehydrators.
Oh, I've never seen a Presto. Maybe I have. Is that one of those round ones?
Probably, I believe it is one of those round ones. Kaylin has 2 of the power stations, 150 watts and 200 watt. Now, as far as those go, I don't have one in here. That's right. It's out in the other room. I have 4. I have 2 of the Goal Zero 150 watt ones. I've replaced the battery on one of them twice, and so it's just kind of I have the Goal Zero 400, which is the one I use. The one I use basically to cover my CPAP. If the power goes out, that's what I plug my CPAP into.
Yeah.
Then I have the Kodiak 1500 by Energy, which they no longer make. They upped it to, they did improvements on it, and it was called the Apex for several years. And now they've discontinued the Apex and now have a modular one called the Flex. And so you can stack it, battery units you can stack onto it, so you can expand the power of it. And that's similar to the Titan. But on mine, I haven't had any. You know, my 400 has worked good for the entire. Oh shoot! 8 years I've had it.
Yeah. Are you still sick? Kind of.
No.
No.
I have it's called my Catch-22 cough.
Oh, okay.
When the air gets a little bit chilly and it's like the other part of the house is stoked up and heated. This back room here gets cold. Cold air tickles my throat.
Oh, okay.
And makes me cough. But it's time for me to fight fire with fire and get out my cough drop. And actually my 400, I took it to scout camp and 3 of us were running our CPAPs off of it, but I also brought 2 100-watt panels. So we moved the panels around during the daytime so it would charge up, and it lasted all week long. We did not have to take over to the med shack during the daytime to charge it up. All right. Oh, interesting, Tibor.
Bought the wife a fancy air fryer. Makes a better hydrator than a cooking
dehydrator.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. You know, we have one that my mom had gotten but never used. I'm gonna have to let my wife know about that because that may help her dehydrate the apricots a little bit quicker.
Yeah. Well, yeah, things like apricots, like I have the Excalibur book that came with mine. And some of the like vegetables and fruits and stuff, you have to cut extremely thin. You have to cut them really thin in order for them to dehydrate properly. So,
all right.
Hey, Ragnarok.
Catching up here on the comments here. Making sure. Yes, and that's it. That's the name of the company is Energy, and the model is the Flex.
Energy Flex. Huh.
All right.
Or into tiny pieces. Yes. And actually, when I dehydrate, I know this is probably not the proper way to do it, but I dehydrated garlic a while back and because garlic is such a pain in the butt, and I think I have so much garlic out on my porch, and I think that's why I haven't done it yet, because you have to peel it and all that crap, and it's just so time consuming. But what I did is I chopped it up really, really fine, and then I put it in my dehydrator. So when I did that, I put it on parchment paper. So when I did that, it was, it didn't take very long at all to
Not sure who all's
dehydrate.
frozen here. Let's get over here, get back to live. There we go.
You are. Well, from my angle anyway.
Okay, because I'm. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Am I moving now?
Yep, you're moving. You're just
Okay.
a little blurry. You're a little blurry.
Yeah, the settings on my on the YouTube part here just changed down to 144. There, now it's working better. Had to change the settings on it. I don't know I don't know, because you froze up first for me, and then I froze. So
Jay, a lot of Inuits do that, actually. And what they do is they make like I don't know. It's kind of like shells, but they hang their salmon, over it, and then they make a fire, and the smoke goes over to it, and it's like out in the open. It's kind of like I don't know what it's called, but yeah, I've seen a lot of videos on Inuits doing that, and they do that a lot, and that's what they feed their dogs too in the winter, because the salmon's really good for their fur and stuff. It's good for the extra fat that they need for the wintertime too.
All right. Klingon Princess says she makes fermented black garlic. Oh, she's making as we speak. Kathy D said put garlic and honey for antibiotics. Yeah, you mix stuff, honey, garlic, and some other stuff for some antibiotics. And Tibor says that their chicken, he doesn't like air fried chicken, but it works great for pineapples, bananas, and that stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Kaylin's right. It's sort of a cold smoke that they do.
Yeah. I think it's super cool. I mean, I don't know. I think I would eat that salmon, but I'm not a big fan of getting it from the store. I think if I caught it and myself, then I'd probably eat it. But once I saw that Doug and Stacy video about the salmon that he brought home for Stacy from the store, and it had like a big worm in it, it kind of like deterred me from buying any salmon in the store ever. I was like, oh, it's so gross. I can't.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, some of the salmons and stuff you buy, it depends where you're getting them from and where they're coming from.
Yeah.
If you can get salmon that from a place up in Alaska where they catch up there, process it up there.
Yeah.
They either freeze it or they salt pack it and ship it. You're going to get a lot better there.
Yeah.
Especially when they salt pack the salmon and stuff. You don't have to worry about the worms and stuff getting into flies laying worms and stuff. You don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah. That's right, Suburban. That's exactly where it was from. And I was like so grossed out by that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, Cosmic.
And it has to do with some of that stuff in the stores. It has to do with how much staff they have on hand. Because when the stuff gets delivered, I've seen stuff sitting out there that should be refrigerated or frozen immediately, sitting out there because they don't have enough people working. They have people off, and they don't have people enough to move the frozen stuff around like they're supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah, Garrett, that's gross, man. You got to really watch. Not that I'm that paranoid, but with seafood and stuff, you really have to watch. You can get some bugs and stuff that can really they can kill you. So you just really have to watch.
One of the other things in checking your DEFCON status is your medications.
Yeah. And that is something I'm definitely not up on. I'm not up on any of that. I kind of afraid to talk to my doctor about it because I don't want her to think I'm a nut.
Yeah.
What I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, the way you go to her about it is, what do you think about all these shortages and stuff? Is there anything do you have any recommendations of stuff I should be doing? Should I be asking you for bigger prescription so I can have more on hand and just do a rotation through it. You pose it that way to them, like you're asking for their information on it, and then they don't think you're nut. They just think you're concerned about all the crap going on in the world.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't want to be like, hey, I kind of want some extra of this. Like, what do you say? Like, it's weird. But yeah.
Blame it this way. My mom said to ask you, can I get an extra long prescription so I can have extra in case of power outages and snowstorms and stuff like that and short supply planes? Blame it on your mom.
Yes. I'm blaming on her.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe. It's good to see you, honey.
Yeah. One of the, so that you come to the medication stuff. I was just checking on some of the stuff here and I realized, oh, crap.
Yeah.
I got a big supply of it in California with my wife. And it's like, I need to get some of that moved up here next time. And so I'm writing down stuff for her to bring up. All right, split out what you think you need, what I need, and bring some of it up here.
Yeah. Yeah, 90-day supply. I'm going to ask her for that, see if I don't know if the price has changed. Well, I mean, it's going to change a little bit, but.
Yeah. And then, of course, when it comes to meds, those of you who know Doc Bones and Nurse Amy, I've had them on here on my channel a couple of times. In fact, we were on here for almost 2 hours a couple months ago. And I know Dave at Southern Ohio Prepping has had him on there 3 times so far in the last couple of years. If you're going to get 2 of their books, I'm going to do I want to share this here. If you're going to get 2 of their books, the newest one, the 4th edition.
Oh, speaking of books, I just bought a book today and I want to show you. So I'll be right back.
Okay. And that's the one book. The other one is their book on antibiotics. And it talks about the antibiotics that are shelf stable for decades. Not 5 years, decades. And which companies make them for fish and other animals that are exactly the same as for human. In fact, it is human doses. It is out on the production line. They just, we're going to label these for fish, or we're going to label these for goats or whatever. So there are some out there like that, and their book on it. Here, let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. Hide that. And do I have I got to open it up here. So it's on they have it on Amazon and on their website, doomandbloom.net, but it's the same price. But if you want an autographed signature like that book I just showed you, it's an autographed signature. You got to order it from them. All right. So Amazon.
Okay.
Go to my list. Go to health. Okay. That's where I put it at. Health.
I've never seen this book before. And I've looked on Amazon for several books like this, but this is what I got today.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious. It says it's first aid essentials, the principles of making herbal medicines, how to create herbal formulas for a wide range of ailments and injuries, herbal protocols dealing with shock, injuries, infections, and more. It says details profiles of 70 useful and effective herbs.
Cool.
So I'm excited.
Having good books on learning how to plant and propagate herbs is important. Having other books on how to use those herbs is important.
Yeah.
All right, let me share this one up here. So it's Alton's Antibiotics and Infectious Disease book. It recently got updated. And so this is the one that talks all about the different types of antibiotics, which ones are human safe, which one are human ones just labeled for animals. So for medicine, that's probably your best bet because, like I said, the stuff that they list in there, the powdered antibiotics and stuff, the same thing the military and the federal government for civilian side found out that the stuff they've had for 20 years, just as good and potent as the day it was made.
Yeah. Interesting.
pollock was once considered trash fish by Alaskan fishermen. Of course, they had all that good king salmon up there.
Huh.
Yeah, so Bruce has a good point here. Keep the pills in a dark, cool area to keep them good. It's very bad mojo to have the meds in daylight. Yes. You don't want them in the sunlight. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a book today about how to care for your chickens. Like medically, like herbally and stuff like that. I think I should have picked that one up too, but there were so many good books, and like I already paid $24 for this one, so it was like, yeah, I just got one.
Oh, yeah, good thing to check out. There are some unscrupulous pharmacist assistants, the lowest paid people back there that, pharmacist makes it up and they stash one off the side and they give the bag off and
yeah, that's really, really crappy to do to somebody. Like, I would be raising hell. I really would. That's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically you store your medications and stuff the same as food storage. You don't want it out in the sun. You want it in a cool place, dry place. Yeah. Okay. So, so your DEFCON status, what is your defense sufficient? Let me hang on. Let me go untie my tongue here. Okay. So your DEFCON or defense condition status relates to a lot of things.
Yeah.
What are you defending against? Inflation, deflation, shortages, disasters, Mother Nature, the druggies around the corner. Yeah. So you need to make an assessment on what your status is, your position, and the best way to do that is have a plan of what you want to do, where you want to be. One of the things I just read Tibor's comment, Gil, rewind. So you need to check, have a plan where you want to go. If you have a plan, you have something to judge your position by.
Yeah. And
so the number one thing I've always taught it: if you're going to get prepared, you need to have a plan. A base plan for food storage and stuff like that. Tactical response plan for hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires, floods, whatever the disaster is that's going to happen. Because your base plan is your base. You build on it with whatever disasters happen in your area.
Right.
So, and if anybody has any questions about that, I have a Prepping for Beginners series, and I got a 3-part video series on plans. So,
you see what Caitlin just said about you? Gil needs to defend against connection freezes.
Oh, I'm not frozen.
You've been doing that for the longest time.
Well, when I moved across the street, the cable company wanted to charge me an extra $10,000 to run the line one pole farther, which they were supposed to, when they came into the city, were required to run it to all the houses. They didn't. So there's another company which has a sort of like a satellite dish, and it's not going satellite. It's going to a broadcast tower in the center of the town right next to us here, which is 2.5 miles away. And a lot of people are going to that. But the problem is, doing a live stream, I'm trying to send out so much data over that it slowly lags behind. Every now and then it just freezes, like, oh, we got to catch up. Yeah, Jay. I'll be a mine. Get me out of the lockup here.
Oh my gosh, I snorted. It was funny. Oh my God. You guys, you're killing me.
So, all right. So anyone, like I said, what I want to say is everyone check out you got to do an inventory of yourself so you can check out your own, where you are on your own DEFCON scale. All right. So, Courtney, is anybody doing an after party tonight?
No, not tonight. Tomorrow night.
Okay.
Kathy wants to know any good canning tips, best things to can. The best things to can would be things like tomato juice, tomatoes, potatoes, any type of bean. Beans are really easy to can. And you can, like, those things come in mass quantities when you plant them in the garden. So you can have tons of beans, tons of tomatoes. This year I'm doing nothing but survival gardening. So I'm planting the vegetables that I know we'll eat and use. So peas, carrots, tomatoes, onions. Those are the main things, and you can use those for everything.
Okay. Kathy, I'm not sure if you know about these channels. Courtney on Fridays has had Rebel Canners on with her during live while she was canning. And let's go over here to Rebel Canners.
Tammy, yes. Tammy is a really good friend of mine. Yeah. And she's an amazing, amazing canner. She's a rebel, okay? She does things that are unconventional as far as canning is concerned, but she knows the rules of canning, and she can teach you that on her show. So it's Rebel Canners is the show.
Yeah, canning milk and all the other fun stuff too. And besides, Tammy is, I'm not going to say her name, but it's Mouse Toes is her channel. Mouse Toes is very good. She does a lot of canning as well. And Mouse Toes does not hold back when someone does something stupid. She calls them out on it. And she's a very, very good one. And Mouse Toes has been on with Tasha Prep For It. If you see in the chat here, someone's name is PREP, the number 4, and then IT. That's Tasha Prep For It. She's I froze again. Dang it. Well, anyway, so these two channels here, Mouse Toes and Rebel Canners, are great ones for canning.
Yeah, and Tammy and I have a show. It's the Blue Ribbon Canning Show, and it's noon on Fridays on my channel too. Yeah. If you have any questions or anything, it's really like more personal on my show. Like, there's not that many people that come in, so she will answer any questions that you have, as far as canning is concerned. So
yeah, I've heard Uncle Al talk about Sutton Days. I haven't heard about Linda's Pantry before, so that's another one to check out, I guess. All right, and bring us back down to here. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up here now, guys, and been on here for a little over an hour. And so coming up tomorrow, do you have a guest on tomorrow night?
Yes, they're called Capsaicin Cult, and what they do is they eat really hot peppers. They're really into hot pepper eating, and I'm really excited. I just confirmed with them today about being on the show, and I'm so excited to have them on. When they eat peppers, they have no emotion whatsoever. And it's so intriguing. I'm like, how can you eat something so hot and not have a reaction? Like, it's just, it's mind-blowing to me. So I cannot wait to have them on the show. It's going to be fun, and they're a cool couple. So.
Okay. And then that comes on at?
It's tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
Okay. And then afterwards, the Poop Troop meets afterwards at?
11? What? Yes, yeah. The after party then will be at, because my show goes from 9:30 to 10:30, and then the after party will start at 11.
Yeah. And if you want to bust up laugh and come to the after party, the Poop Troop, as it's called, is totally hilarious. All right. Then on Thursday, here on Grayman Prepping again, is Thursday Talk. Thursday Talk is a scenario-based, I don't know what to call it. Basically, I pick up a scenario and say, all right, the scenario's happened. Now what? And so this scenario is after the power grid collapses, what are your plans? And just as part of the ground truths involved with it, and ground truths is a emergency operations center speak. Basically, this is what we're laying out as the facts we're going to base the scenario on. It's not an EMP. It's not a terrorist. It's a mechanical failure that caused a domino effect across the power grid, and it's down for months because a lot of the transformers got damaged, and it's going to take that months or years to repair everything. So it's after the power grid collapses. That's at 10 o'clock Eastern time on Thursday. Friday, you got one Friday daytime with Tammy?
Yes, Fridays at noon. It's the Blue Ribbon Cannon Show.
Yeah, so Friday, 12 o'clock Eastern time.
My husband, you can?
Yeah. Friday evening at 9 Eastern is Backwoods Law. You can see Backwoods there in the chat. He just put up a bunch of poop. Backwoods Law is going to be leading one. He is a former MP from the Army. He's then was a firefighter and then rounded out his working career as emergency operations manager. So he'll have good information. Following him at 10 o'clock will be Friday night on the Homestead on my Camp Patton Family Compound channel. So it's Camp Patton, one word, Family Compound. And that we're talking about, out on the farm and stuff. Snow removal. How do you do it? How do you do a little snow removal when you got several acres and you got animals and stuff like that? So that's what we're going to talk about, snow and how it impacts the homestead and the animals.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And then, let's see. Oops, sorry, I got that backwards. I looked the wrong line. Friday, is going to be sourdough starters and wild yeast. Friday
that's
on
cool.
The Homestead.
That's cool.
Next Monday on Camp Patton Family Compounds Fireside chat is going to be snow removal. Got my lines mixed up here on my spreadsheet here. So this Friday is going to be sourdough starters and wild yeast. And if anybody out there wants to be on the panel and does harvesting wild yeast and does sourdough starters and run sourdough and stuff, please drop me a line, email, and I'll send you the link so you can come up here. And because basically I'm going to be doing research all week long on a little bit more. I'm going to be going over to Anthony at Pomelo Prepared, checking with Anthony because he does a lot of sourdoughs. He does the sourdough yeast. Get all the information I can to share with you guys. And if someone else could be up there that has that information, that's what this is for, is to help everybody learn from one another. And Tina Weber says, my sourdough is called Miller. Sort of like my cousin's is called Budweiser. All right. So, and then finally, next Tuesday here, we're going to be talking about fuels, different fuels that make it go, make it burn, whether it's diesel, gasoline, white gas, propane, isobutane, you name it. We're going to be talking about it, what we can store, stock, and safety procedures for dealing with that next Tuesday here on Tactical Tuesday.
Laura Hedgehog, she does sourdoughs too, but I don't know if she'll be able to do your show or not.
She's moving.
She's moving, yeah.
And that's on sourdoughs is on the 7th, and they're supposed to be moving on when? The 17th?
The 7th.
The 7th?
Yeah, it's like soon, soon.
Yeah, I was sure it was the 10th or the 17th. So, yeah, so they're moving, so they're not going to be doing much anything lives anyway. So, and of course, like Steve says, stay safe, everyone.
Y'all have a good night.
All right. Take care. See you around, and we'll see you tomorrow night on Courtney's at 9